and welcome to Polymer Clay TV. I'm Kira, and today I'm going to show you how to make this faux weathered wood look and complete a set of jewelry. Let's get started. This is what I'm headed for. A nice looking faux weathered wood. This gray wood look is really in right now in home decor and stuff, so I thought I would try to make it in clay. So what I have here is the main color is going to be souffle mocha. So I've got a chunk of that, and then I've got souffle bluestone, and this is a mixture of primo ecru and I think it's the whatever that light color is in souffle. I can't remember the name right now, but it's the lightest off-white souffle color. So I had this lying around that I mixed together. So what we're going to do is, this is about a half bar. I'm going to use less. So about a quarter bar of the mocha and a little bit of this just to lighten it up, and then the bluestone, a chunk of that to kind of give it a cooler look, but I'm going to first mix it with about an equal amount of the mocha, because when I mix them together I'm going to leave it streaky. So first I'm going to mix these two into more of a dark color with the blue in it, and then I'm going to streak it all together. So I've mixed and conditioned my clay, and now I'm just going to kind of rip the colors up so that I can streak them all together. And I'm going to go in stages and just see how it goes, because I don't want it all to be blue or the off-white. So I'm going to put a few chunks on here, roll it through the pasta machine a few times, and come back if I need more. Okay, so I just kept ripping and recombining until I got these two sheets. This one has a lot of mixing going on, and there's just a very faint sort of marbled effect. And then this one, I took the edges off of this and just combined it back onto the pure mocha color. So I like this sheet better, so I'm going to back this with this. And the reason for this is because I'm going to be pressing on it with my texture sheet, and I don't want the whole thing to be super thin when I'm done doing that. So this is my wood planks texture sheet, and how I'm going to do this is I'm going to put it here, and then I have this acrylic strip, and it's just the right size to put on the back of here so that I can give nice even pressure. And the way I'm going to do that is by kind of holding it down with one hand and pressing with the heel of my other hand. And then because that's a silicone texture sheet, it really sticks well right onto the acrylic piece. So what we have is approaching a nice weathered wood, but I'm going to do some more stuff to it. So I've got my metal oxide and patina palette here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a nice soft brush, and cheap makeup brushes do a really good job with this technique. So I'm just going to powder the heck out of this thing with this white powder. And get it all down in the cracks. Smooth it out and make sure that the whole piece is covered. Once that's done, I'm going to spend a few minutes with some Scotch tape, and I'm going to rub it on the top layer of the clay and peel it back, and you'll see that it's pulling that white powder off the top of the piece. I'm going to do it twice. I'm going to go over the whole surface 2 times with the tape to really pull the powder off of this top layer. And you can see maybe right here how doing it twice is making a difference. Take your time on that step so that you have a nice contrast between the clay and the white powder. Now I'm going to roll this through my pasta machine just once. You could also do it with a hand roller just to sort of flatten some of that out. Then I'll take my finger again, make sure that there are no chunks, and lightly run it around. To make some dark spots. Because the look I'm going for is this old, mangled up kind of wood. Okay, and now you can make whatever you're going to make, because the last step is to rub a little of this around the edge of the wood. See, on this piece, I actually darkened the rough edges. So let's decide what we're going to make. I like these cascade petals, and I think that they'll make a really nice pendant and set of earrings with the amount of clay that I have here. So that's what I'm going to make, not with the tiniest one. I'm going to switch to my glass tabletop to make this a little easier. And I like this knot right here, so I'm definitely going to make sure that's in here. And my trick for this is to use an acrylic block for stamping to get nice even pressure on my 3D printed cutters. So then I'm just going to play with where these two other pieces go. I'll make them both slanted so that they get that type of grain to the wood. And save this. I can make more out of that piece. There's a lot of veneer here. And then just use a blade or tool to help you pick these up off your surface. You'll notice if you use a tile or a piece of glass that a lot of the sort of funky edges that you get with the 3D cutters will just stick to the surface instead of sticking to your piece. So I'll put these back on my non-glare surface. And I have one more thing I'm going to do here. Well, two more things. So I told you I would rough up the edges a little bit with the black. So I'm definitely going to do that, sort of going along the edge with a little bit of this black color to darken them and make it look more aged. And all of this is, you know, uneven. Wood ages according to which part of it was exposed to the weather and for how long, and it's not going to look totally even and perfect. All right, so the last thing I did is I took some of this white antiquing cream, this stuff. This is DecoArt Antiquing Cream. And I took a nice firm blade. And I'm going to put a little of this on my finger. Drag it on the non-sharp part of the blade. And press it down into where I want this wood to have a seam, like so. Like where the planks come together. It's just for a little extra detail. And I also took one of my Do Anything tools, this one that has sort of a flat bottom to it, and went after the knots in the wood to accentuate them and maybe just make some divots. Just so that everything isn't quite so perfect. And if you are making jewelry, then we'll make holes where the holes are going to go, and then bake it. Alright, because this looks unfinished to me, I took some bluestone and rolled it out. I used this cutter from my graduated cutter set because it's closest to the hole in this large petal, and I made a circle. And then I took a very small one that I had lying around and I cut another circle, and I'm going to do this. I'm going to put this butted up right in here. And I'm going to use a blade to cut it off. Just a little higher. Okay, I like that. And then I'm going to make circles that fit inside these earring pieces out of this same small cutter. And butt those right up against there. And I did leave this clay thicker. This is at the number 1 on my pasta machine, whereas the wood is a bit thinner than that, so that they're going to stand up taller than the wood pieces around them. And I've got one more thing I want to add. Contrast is always a good thing. So blue and orange are complementary colors, which stands to reason that copper and this bluestone are also quite complementary. So I'm going to use these aluminum hot fix copper colored pieces to provide a little interest. They're hot fix, they're going to stick right to the clay when I bake it, and I'm thinking that I might be cutting these off and not using the whole circle. So let's see how many, maybe 3 on each of these. And that sort of brushed metal look looks great with the weathered wood. So I'm going to go ahead and cut these off as well, right about there. And make hanging holes, because these will be earrings. I'm using my ultimate tool. It's really great for all kinds of things, especially this. And decide, let's see, I'm going to put the hanging mechanism up here. For this, and just make sure that your clay is all touching, because we're going to go into the oven now and we want it all to stick together. Okay, and bake. Okay, here are my finished pieces after I've attached findings, and they look so cool. So I hope that you enjoyed this idea for a veneer where you can leave it rustic on the edges, or you can turn it into something really nice and finished looking. Come on over to the blog at polymerclaytv.com for lots more veneer ideas. 2019 is actually our year of veneer, and every single week we are doing a different way to make a sheet of clay that you can then turn into objects or decorate with. And come over to polymerclaytribe.com, which is our huge Facebook group full of people who are ready to talk to you about what you're making, and you can get ideas, share inspiration, get your questions answered, and have loads of fun. We'll see you next time on Polymer Clay TV.